Welcome to Forest Day 6. And I'll introduce our new Director General of CIFOR, Peter Holmgren.
Well, thank you, and good morning, everyone. Honorable ministers, distinguished guests, and all of those of you watching us online. We're webcasting Forest Day today. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to Forest Day 6. My name is Peter Holmgren. I have the honor to have taken up the role as Director General of the Center for International Forestry Research since only 3 months. And some of you may recognize me in these circles. I've used to coordinate climate change and REDD+ for the Food and Agriculture Organization. So I've had the pleasure to attend and enjoy every Forest Day since the first one in 2007. It's been great to join CIFOR. I've seen over the years how the forestry research from CIFOR and from its partners is picked up worldwide, not least through the Forest Day. Next year is also our 20th anniversary, and that will be something to celebrate. I would like to acknowledge colleagues and friends from the Collaborative Partnership on Forests, the CPF. Without CPF, it would not be possible to gather leading international forestry organizations around an event like this, like the Forest Day. And this is also the first of a 2-day conference. Tomorrow, the Agriculture Day will pick up the ball under the same theme as today, living landscapes. And I'd like to now look back at Forest Day, and I would like to take this moment to pay tribute to Frances, my predecessor. Frances Seymour was instrumental in making Forest Day a success. Thanks to her energy, thanks to her engagement, we've seen after earlier Forest Days that more than 90% of the participants thought the days were successful or very successful. So 90% success rate, that's indeed a benchmark and a target for the negotiation meetings that are organized at the margins of Forest Day. Maybe it was the other way around. Since the first Forest Day in Bali, 6 years ago, more than 5,000 people from more than 100 countries have attended. This includes 1,000 UNFCCC negotiators and more than 400 journalists, more than 300 speakers. And that has included a president, governors, government ministers, Nobel laureates, scientists, global experts, and indigenous leaders. Forest Day was designed to help put forests on the climate change agenda. I think we can say that this mission has been completed. REDD+ continues to be one of the policy areas that have made the most progress in the climate negotiations over the past years. And on that note, Tony Lavinia, who facilitates the REDD+ negotiations, will give us an update at the end of today how things have progressed this past week, or as I've heard, maybe not progressed. So with all this accomplished with Forest Day, we have been asking ourselves, what role should Forest Day play going forward? And so the Collaborative Partnership on Forests has decided that today will be the final Forest Day to be held on the sidelines of the COP. And you may have seen some information of that already. But don't worry, this is not the end. As we all know, the negotiations are not nearly beginning to end. Instead, we see a beginning towards a new climate agreement in 2015. So at this ending of the beginning, we are not at all beginning to end our forest engagements at the COPs. On the contrary, we need to gear up and we need to work hard to keep forestry and natural resources management at the top of the list for the negotiators going towards 2015. We will come back later today on the future of the days at COPs, and I look forward to your feedback in these discussions. And let me also assure you that the Forest Day brand will continue to live beyond the realm of UNFCCC COPs. Forest Day has a high potential to attract and inform policymakers, key stakeholders, and also to gain media attention on forestry issues. And there's a need to ensure that forestry remain on the global, regional, national agendas. It's as important today as it was in Bali 2007. But now let me also speak about what's in store for all of us today. The theme today is living landscapes, solutions for a sustainable world. So what does that mean? Well, my experience from the role I had at FAO is that climate change really needs to be dealt with across sector boundaries. And this also tells us that forests and forestry needs to be viewed at also through the lenses of agriculture, food security, and broader sustainable development. Forests and forestry are really important for our future in many ways, and we should not frame that in isolation. For example, it's not constructive to see conservation of forests to be in opposition to food security. So it's time to look at new ways of solving old problems. If we avoid the false dichotomy between, say, forestry and food security, we will find that these objectives actually support each other. They're both part of sustainable development. So we've developed today's agenda along these lines. This year's discussion forums, as you see in the program, they look at how to improve governance and investments in rural development and how that can help lower emissions and reduce threats to our forests. There will also be a discussion on forest landscape restoration. That's very timely given the bomb challenge of restoring 150 million hectares by 2020. And of course, one of the important topics in the negotiations this year is drivers of deforestation. So there will be a session addressing what we know already and what needs to be worked out to address the drivers within REDD+. And for the first time, Forest Day will discuss mangroves, which are crucial for both mitigation and adaptation, and also in their role for food and environment in the coastal landscapes at large. Protecting and restoring mangroves is also an important topic for this year's host of the COP, Qatar. In the plenary sessions, we will look at potential integration between forestry and agriculture policies, taking up the discussion on landscapes and how they relate to sustainable development, and how climate change adaptation and mitigation may be addressed in cross-cutting ways. And further repeating the success of last year, we will hold another one-hour issues marketplace right after lunch. This year, 17 organizations will be presenting, and this will be held on the second floor, that's just above us. And during lunch and the coffee breaks, I suggest you take a look at the exhibits. We have 33 of them this year, and they will take place in the foyers on the second and third floors. And don't miss the closing session. We will pay a tribute to Forest Day and everyone that has made it a success over these past years. So again, most welcome to Forest Day 6.